In 1962, Peter Parker was introduced to the world as Spider-Man. Now, over half a century later, we're finally able to emulate what it would possibly feel like to be the web-headed wall crawler that we've come to love. Equipped with nothing but a web shooter and some buildings, how much fun can you really have? That's the answer I sought to find when I begun my search for the best Spider-Man VR game. Now, this started a few days ago when I got relatively bored and I wanted to find a new Spider-Man game to play. So, went on the internet and looked around, and I found 3 games that I thought would probably end up being the best Spider-Man type games that you could find as of now. So the first one was the Unbreakable Gumball. And this one, let me tell you, this one did take a little bit to get running. So apparently, sometimes the game just won't launch in Steam. So I downloaded the game, went to launch it, and it opened in big picture mode. Now, if you don't know what big picture mode is, I didn't either. Apparently the game was refusing to open as an actual VR game. It was opening as if I was trying to play like Fortnite or something, and it was just gonna like project a big screen in front of me. And that's not exactly what I was looking for, if I'm being honest. So I did some more digging. Turns out that if you download it from itch.io, it probably works fine. So download it from there and it worked fine. I don't know. So a few things to note about this game. It is just a demo. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at some gameplay. Now, if you're wondering why I am strapped into what seems to be some kind of medieval torture device, don't worry, it's just my VR treadmill. Now, if that last sentence intrigued you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because I do have more content coming up where I will be unboxing and reviewing this treadmill. But for now, you're just going to deal with me being strapped to it and you not knowing anything about it. So upon opening the game, it gives you the option to do a tutorial. I did the tutorial off screen naturally because you don't need to see me learn how to play the game. You just want to know if it works. So as far as being a Spider-Man game, the swinging mechanic was it was a little more difficult than what I'm used to. When you shoot your web out, it just continues to extend the web, and if you let go, you let go. So what you have to do is you have to shoot the web and then reel yourself in, and I found that whole thing kind of confusing to get a hold of. I would shoot the web and then try to reel myself in, and I would go nowhere. I would pull myself to get like some speed going, and then I'd absolutely like fly across the place. Eventually I was able to kind of get down, as you can see here, but just because of that, I would say maybe wait for this game to be updated and not be a demo, and maybe it'll work better. Who knows? We'll see. Now, with that being said, we're going to move on to the next game, and this one, if I'm being honest, is my favorite one of what I found so far. So Superfly. In this game, I think you're supposed to be some kind of robot experiment that escaped from a lab. I don't know, I didn't really look into the story that much, but you get a ton of powers along the way. So you can be Iron Man, Dr. Octopus, the Flash, I think, was one of them. There's a couple of them. If you're interested, you can go ahead and check it out. But that being said, we're not here to learn if it's a good Iron Man game. We're here to learn if this is a good Spider-Man game. So right off the bat, the swinging mechanics are much more simpler than their Unbreakable Gumball. you pretty much swing around, and one thing I like to do to test and see if the swing mechanic is good or not, it's just my way of doing it. When you turn a wall, you kind of web to the side so that you don't necessarily lose all your momentum and keep going. And yeah, it passed that test. So considering the fact that it is a game that you can not only be Spider-Man but any other of like your favorite superheroes, that's a win in my book. But as a Spider-Man game, it works. And if you ever get bored of just being Spider-Man for whatever reason, then you can go ahead and be Iron Man or something else. Now this brings me to what you probably would think would be the first thing that I would have found and wanted to play. But as I said earlier in the video, I got bored. And it wasn't just general boredom per se. It was boredom with this game. I've played this game for countless hours, and while it is a great game, I just got tired of it. So this one does have a story where you can actually do something other than swing around, but it's really short. It's not like a full game that you could play for hours and hours on end, at least in the story mode. So spoilers for the Spider-Man virtual reality experience if you want to not be spoiled for some reason. But trust me, you're not missing anything. Skip ahead to this time if you really don't want to know, but as you can see, it's really short. So, pretty much, Ned calls you, you're late for something. You swing around, get hit by a rock. There's a giant robot that came out of who knows where. It's got drones, you beat up the drones. The monster runs away, you take his armor off, and then you stick him to some webs while fighting off maybe another drone. And that's it. Then the game's over. So I guess the fact that there's nothing really much else to do in this game is why I got bored, which is why I went to go look at other games. But honestly, this is a really good game. The swing mechanics amazing. There is like time trials where you can like fly through checkpoints and then get timed on that, and then I think there's like 40 pins to unlock a new suit scattered around the map, so you can do that. And then there's also, you can fight drones similar to the ones that the robot had. But the thing with that is when the drones shoot you, I guess to give it a sense of like, don't get hit by the drones, it takes your web away. But when your two powers is webbing and climbing, and you can't even punch in the game, like, what are you gonna do? There's nothing. So that's really my only complaint about this one, which is why I went to fly the other ones. And I think I'm gonna be playing more Superfly from now on. Now, as I said earlier, it's been over half a century since the world was introduced to Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, and virtual reality is really the closest we have gotten to being able to emulate his abilities. And I, for one, am not going to miss my chance to be able to swing my way around town, even if it's not me actually swinging and just me strapped to my VR treadmill, standing completely still and swinging my arms around like an idiot. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, I do plan on seeing if I can find some more Spider-Man games, so go ahead and leave that in the comments if you know about anything else, whether it's compatible with PC, the Quest. I'll find a way to play it. This isn't the end. I'm going to keep looking. A Superfly right now might be the top of the list. It doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. So if you're interested in finding more Spider-Man games, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. If you want to know more about my VR treadmill, hit the subscribe button for that, because I am working on the video for that. It's kind of a big one, so it's going to take a while. But yeah, that's about it for me. See ya.